Hey Kaiju fans, so today I will be unboxing an X Plus King Caesar. He's from the movie Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. This is a variant version. I think he has light up eyes, and I look forward to sharing with you guys my live reaction. And obviously, if you do like our content, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, and head on over to Kaiju Kingdom Collectibles.com. We have all kinds of kaiju related products. Okay, so we'll just kind of take a look at the box here first. So, just basically some insignia here. The 70th anniversary of Godzilla. In Japanese, it just basically describes King Caesar. He's kind of one of my favorite Godzilla allies. He's just I always find him to be very comical, and I enjoy watching him. He's almost like a dog, kind of a pet in a way. It does look like this requires a couple batteries, so I will plug that in when ready. All right, let's go ahead and get this guy opened up. Alright, I got them all unpacked. Wow, alright, so yeah, so this is probably one of the few King Caesar figures I actually own. I do have some smaller, more miniature guys. They're about 6 inches tall, give or take, and they were released in the mid to late 90s. Yeah, so this is an X Plus one, and wow, it's a very good rendition of King Caesar. So I think the first thing that jumps out to me is his fur. It kind of cascades down his body here. And although they are individual pieces of plastic, or they're just part of the initial sculpt, it does really look like hair. And yeah, it's almost like he's wearing kind of a tunic or a cape or something like that. And it's all very nicely kind of put together, especially on the shoulder areas. Another thing I do want to call out here is also his face. Yeah, so this is kind of very typical of, I guess, not only Chinese, but obviously Japanese art and monster art. He kind of has this jawline that's very typical of some of the renditions of monsters in like the Edo period and even prior to that. So I think it's a really kind of neat rendition, the way sort of Toho kind of put it into a kaiju monster. Yeah, so he looks pretty friendly to me. He doesn't come across as an enemy in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, in the movie, he's a supporter of Godzilla and an ally of Godzilla, and he helps him defeat Mechagodzilla. And you also notice the cool crown that's sort of right in the center of his forehead here, and hence the name King. I would imagine this is sort of like a crown to anoint him the king. I like his eyes, and obviously they do light up, and I'll show that to you guys in a little bit here. And then obviously his ears, they're very reminiscent of like maybe a dog or a puppy, so I find that to be really endearing. So yeah, overall, face looks terrific. Okay, then moving down to the rest of the body here. I guess I never realized that his legs are kind of scaly, so he's sort of he comes across as being like a mammal in a ways, but he's got this sort of armadillo kind of skin on him, so I would assume it's maybe armor or what have you, but he kind of permeates his leg area as well as his arms and things like that. So even though he comes across as kind of being a mammal, now he's sort of a hybrid, which I think is kind of an interesting touch. And as we cycle around the back here, I do like how his little tail kind of pops up here, and it's kind of has his mind of its own, I would imagine, just because dogs kind of have personalities, and what happens kind of in the tails is reflected of maybe their behavior on their face as well. So yeah, all really cool here. Get to see kind of the hair in the back and his torso area. Yeah, it looks great, I would say. He's probably the biggest King Caesar figure that's out there that I'm aware of. That's not like a garage kit or something like that. So yeah, I do like this very much. And since this is an X Plus variant, this includes the light up eyes, which I mentioned before. And basically you get one of these little guys. It's kind of a power source in which you have to insert 2 AA batteries. Simply take this little cable here, you plug it into the back of his leg, and I will go ahead and fire him up now. Yeah, that's a pretty cool feature there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights back on. Yeah, some pretty cool eyes there. Yeah, definitely friendly and not menacing. And let me just go ahead and turn off the lights again just so you can see that contrast. Okay, and I guess I do have one gripe about this figure, and it's not necessarily anything wrong with the figure itself per se, but I think it's just in terms of like the body sculpt and how he's sort of constructed, it's pretty unbalanced. So what I ended up doing here, just for the purpose of demonstration, I put some earthquake putty under his foot just to kind of add that additional support. So you may want to, if you end up purchasing this figure at some point, take that into account in case you know, he might topple over unless you're going to lean it up against maybe something else. Okay guys, well that about wraps it up. I hope you like this content, and we'll catch you next time.